Jack's affection for Lisa Jiang had once been the envy and gossip of high society, but now, the same man had personally ordered her beloved dog to be tortured and mutilated, all because his darling little canary claimed that Lisa had stolen her late mother's keepsake. So Jack had his bodyguards tie up the dog. With each piece of flesh they sliced from the poor creature, they demanded Lisa hand over the heirloom, a thing that didn't even exist. After the 999th cut, Lisa finally broke down, trembling. She clutched the hem of his trousers, her voice quivering. "Jack, I swear I didn't take it. Please let him go. He's been with me for 10 years. You gave him to me yourself when I was 15. Don't you remember?" Jack looked down at her without a trace of emotion. He reached out and gently stroked her hair, just like he'd done countless times before to comfort her. But this time, his voice was ice cold. "Of course I remember. That's exactly why I chose him. The more you care, the more likely you'll tell the truth. Lisa, I've told you, I love you. Xiao was just for fun. When I get tired of her, I'll naturally come home. But why did you have to take her things? Do you have any idea? Her mother died young. That heirloom is the only memory she has left." Tears blurred Lisa's vision as she stared up at him. For the first time, this man she'd once loved felt terrifyingly unfamiliar. She thought back to when they were 15. Jack had skipped class and climbed a wall just to buy her a Samoyed puppy. He stood outside her house, holding the fluffy little thing, grinning recklessly. "Lisa Jiang, from now on, he's yours. Jack, am giving him to you. You have to keep him for life." Her cheeks flushed as she took the puppy. It nuzzled into her arms, its wet nose brushing her fingertips. In that moment, she thought they'd always be happy. From school uniforms to wedding gowns, from youth to old age, everyone said they were made for each other. Jack had once spoiled her without the slightest bottom line. When she casually mentioned craving sugar, roasted chestnuts from the west side of the city, he skipped night study, rode his bike across town, and brought them to her. When she was pale and cramping from her period, he snuck into the girls' dorm, holding a hot water bottle and brown sugar tea to comfort her. At graduation, in front of the entire school, he knelt on one knee and held up a ring, saying, "Lisa Jiang, will you marry me?" Back then, she was the only one in his eyes. Lisa Jiang stood frozen, staring at Jack's back as he rushed toward the kitchen. She suddenly laughed. So even something as trivial as making soup was enough to throw him into a panic. This was the just for fun relationship he had spoken of. All he wanted was to have his cake and eat it too, to embrace his white moonlight with one hand, and hold his red rose with the other, a man enjoying the pleasures of keeping both. But this time, Lisa Jiang would make sure that his white moonlight disappeared, and became the sharpest, deepest thorn in his heart forever. That night, someone knocked on Lisa Jiang's door. She opened it to see Jenny Tang standing outside with a bowl of soup in her hands, a fake smile on her face. "Lisa, I came to apologize about the heirloom. It was all a misunderstanding." Lisa Jiang interrupted her coldly. "There's no one else here. You can drop the act." Jenny's smile vanished. She stepped inside, shut the door behind her, and sneered. "Lisa Jiang, when exactly do you plan to step down? Jack only has eyes for me now. If he still loved you, why would he dig up your mother's grave for me? If I were you, I'd have left long ago." Lisa stared at her calmly, without a flicker of emotion. "Whether I leave or not has nothing to do with you. Deep down, you know, if Jack can desecrate my mother's grave for you today, then someday, he'll trample you into the mud for someone else. You." Jenny raised her hand, a glint of malice flashing in her eyes, but just as she was about to slap her, footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Jenny froze, her hand hovered in the air, then slowly lowered. She looked back at Lisa, her voice filled with venom. "Fine, don't say I didn't warn you. One day, you'll regret clinging to someone who doesn't want you." Then she stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Lisa Jiang stood motionless. For a long time, she said nothing, until a cold mechanical voice rang in her mind. "System activation complete. Host has one wish permission available. Would you like to use it now?" She looked in the direction Jack had left, then slowly closed her eyes. "Use it. I want to go to my mother's world." Unlike her mother, Lisa Jiang was born in that world and raised in the mission world. All her family and friends were there. Her ties to it ran too deep. Traveling across worlds required immense courage and determination. Who would willingly abandon everything familiar, the world they were born and raised in, to step into a completely unknown, possibly unreal, foreign realm? That was why, at the time, her mother had not only secured Lisa a chance to come to her world, but also one extra condition. If one day Lisa ever awakened the system and chose to cross over, then upon arrival, the system would erase all her memories of the mission world. So when her mother suddenly found a daughter in her memories, she immediately knew her Lisa had arrived, and knowing her daughter had suffered, how could she not feel pain? But it didn't matter anymore. From now on, with her here, no one would ever dare hurt Lisa Jiang again. Inside the house, Lisa Jiang washed up quickly, changed clothes, and went downstairs. In the living room, aside from her parents, there were two unfamiliar men. As she descended the stairs, her father smiled and began to introduce them. Lisa, this is your Uncle Xiao, and that's Xiao Baiyu. Come say hello. Lisa looked at them without hesitation and greeted politely. Hello, Uncle Xiao. Hello, Brother Baiyu. Uncle Xiao chuckled, nodding. It's been so many years. Lisa's grown so big now. I remember the last time I saw you. You were only this tall. As he spoke, he raised his hand and gestured, just barely taller than the back of the sofa. Lisa Jiang gave a shy smile and replied, that was when I was very young. As is always the case when elders discuss the younger generation, the conversation inevitably turned toward school, relationships, and career. Lisa had just graduated and would likely join the family company, so naturally the focus shifted to her love life. When Uncle Xiao asked if she had a boyfriend, Lisa looked slightly uncomfortable and shook her head. Her father quickly laughed and chimed in, Lisa's still young, no rush when it comes to romance. After dinner, Lisa Jiang and Xiao Baiyu left together to take a walk outside. The air was cool, and the streetlights cast a warm yellow glow on the ground. Xiao Baiyu glanced at her reddened earlobes and chuckled softly. Don't mind what my dad said. He just likes to joke around. You don't have to take it seriously. Lisa Jiang nodded. I know. She knew that childhood promises were nothing but playful words, but hearing them again now still brought a faint blush to her cheeks. To be honest, Xiao Baiyu said as they walked, it's been so long since I came back. I'm not familiar with the area anymore. Lisa, would you mind showing me around? Relieved to escape the teasing of the elders, Lisa quickly nodded. Of course. By the way, he continued after a pause, you went to Huaqing University, right? Lisa nodded again. I originally wanted to attend Huaqing too, he said, smiling, but then I went abroad with my father, and that dream got shelved. Maybe you could take me there. Let me see what I missed. Lisa agreed easily. They didn't bring a driver. Lisa drove the car herself, and the two of them headed toward Huaqing University. Even though it was the school break, the campus was bustling with students. Lisa and Xiao Baiyu walked side by side through the shaded paths, blending in perfectly. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting golden specks on their clothes. Xiao Baiyu sighed in admiration. No wonder they call this the top university. Lisa smiled and tilted her head. You went to Shihuang Academy, didn't you? That's one of the top schools in S country too. They chatted as they strolled until they reached the canteen. Lisa looked at him and smiled. There's this cake from the second floor cafe that I really loved. Want to try it? Xiao Baiyu nodded. If it's something Lisa still craves after graduation, it must be amazing. The teasing tone in his voice made her laugh. It really is. Sweet but not cloying. I promise you'll want a second bite. Their laughter echoed behind them as they disappeared into the crowd. When they returned home later, Lisa's parents were just about to call her, only to see her and Xiao Baiyu returning with a bag full of little cakes. Mother Jiang scolded her lightly. Didn't I tell you to eat less sweets? Why did you go and buy cake again? Lisa giggled and hugged her mother's arm. Mom, I haven't had them in so long. Just this once. Please. Her mother relented, but made her promise to eat the cakes after dinner. Dinner was simple and cozy, filled with laughter, but Lisa never expected the bombshell that came afterward. What? There's a marriage arrangement between me and Brother Baiyu. She stared at her parents, stunned, her voice rising to the ceiling. But didn't you say you weren't in a hurry to marry me off? Her mother laughed and gently explained. We're not rushing you. It just came up during the conversation. If you two get along, we can consider it later, but if not, just forget the engagement. It won't count. Lisa finally exhaled, patting her chest. I thought you were trying to get rid of me. Silly girl, you're our daughter. Even if we raised you for a lifetime, we'd be happy. We just want you to have someone to rely on when you grow old. From that day on, Lisa and Xiao Baiyu saw more and more of each other. She didn't resist it, and in time, she even began recalling faint childhood memories. Being with him felt more and more natural. Lisa Jiang wore a sleek white satin gown, her hair elegantly pinned up and adorned with lustrous pearls. She twirled before him, smiling. How do I look? Beautiful. His deep gaze lingered on her. Almost reluctant to look away, she hooked her arm through his and teased. Let's go. time to make our grand entrance, my fiancé. The way she said fiancé with that playful lilt, like a hook scratching softly at his heart, made his ears flush red, though he tried to compose himself as they walked out together. The banquet hall was lively. Parents on both sides greeted guests with beaming smiles. For a moment, Lisa felt dazed, her mind flashing with images that overlapped oddly with reality, familiar, yet different, and whenever she tried to recall more, a wave of rejection surged in her heart. But strangely, none of that aversion appeared when she looked at Xiaobai. Maybe she really had forgotten something, but she had no desire to remember. After all, those memories didn't feel good, and since no one had ever brought it up, perhaps it wasn't important. What mattered was, she was happy now, and she had no intention of changing that. Elsewhere, Jack jolted awake from yet another dream. Sweat beaded on his forehead, his breathing was erratic. In the dream, he watched helplessly as Lisa Jiang walked down the aisle with someone else. It tore him apart, but dreams weren't real, right? He tried to convince himself. Lisa still loved him. She wouldn't choose anyone else. She couldn't. But the sight of her and Xiao Baiyu laughing together haunted him. Could it be? She really didn't love him anymore. No, it wasn't possible. He stumbled forward, shouting, "Lisa, you're mine. You already married me. How can you marry someone else?" But his voice echoed in a void. No one could hear him. He tried to reach out, to stop them, but his hand passed through the air like a ghost. Since that day he awoke from the dream, he realized something terrifying. He was trapped, a soul lingering on the edge of reality, unable to speak, unable to touch, condemned only to watch. He saw her smile at another man, saw her rest her head on someone else's shoulder, and for the first time, Jack truly realized, he had lost her, completely. Lisa Jiang's eyes never left Jack's. In them, she saw not love, but anger, suspicion, and betrayal sharp enough to cut bone. Why did he always say he loved her? Yet time after time, he believed Jenny Tang's terrible lies. "I didn't start the fire," she said slowly, clearly. "If I really wanted to hurt that child." Before she could finish, she suddenly kicked Jenny Tang square in the abdomen. "Ah!" Jenny screamed, collapsing to the ground. "I would have just kicked it to death right here." Jack grabbed Lisa Jiang's wrist, his grip so tight it nearly broke her bones. "Lisa Jiang, when did you become this vicious?" Vicious? Lisa looked at him, laughing so hard it hurt her chest. Was she the one who'd changed? Or was it him, changed into someone who no longer had any room in his heart for her? "Guards," Jack barked. "Take the madam and..." Ding. Time. Space portal activated. The system's voice suddenly rang in Lisa's mind. "Host, death required to complete world transfer." Her pupils shrank. She slowly looked up at Jack. Her expression was calmer than ever before. "Jack," she whispered, "no need to punish me, because I'll be gone from your world very soon." He froze. "What?" "I give up," she said with a determined smile. "From this moment on, you and Jenny Tang can live happily ever after." Then, in front of his eyes, she turned and ran into the raging inferno. Boom! The explosion ripped through the night, and the fire swallowed Lisa whole. Lisa, in the final moments before losing consciousness, she saw Jack struggling wildly to rush into the flames, but being held back by the guards. On his face was a panic and despair she had never seen before. "Good," she thought faintly. "This time, it's your turn to taste heartbreak." The search crew finally pulled out the scorched body. Jack stared, eyes bloodshot, refusing to believe it was her. He tried to convince himself it was a maid or someone else caught in the fire, but then he saw it. On the corpse's arm was a faint scar, one he would never forget. Years ago, she had shielded him from shattered glass in a car crash. That scar had been a reminder of her devotion ever since. And now, Jack fell to his knees, trembling, unable to breathe. Jenny Tang stepped forward, feigning sorrow. "Jack, don't be too sad. You still have me, and our child." But her eyes betrayed a glint of satisfaction. She hadn't expected Lisa to actually die, only to scare her into finally leaving. But now that she was gone so completely even her body was unrecognizable, Jack would never be able to go back to her. She thought she'd won, until Jack turned and looked at her, eyes filled not with love, but hatred. He stepped forward slowly, then suddenly, his hand shot out and closed around her throat. Jenny gasped, clawing at him, her face turning red as she struggled. Blood from her nails scratched his arms, but Jack didn't let go. Only when she was about to pass out did he finally release her. She collapsed to the ground, coughing violently, tears streaming down her face, but when she looked up, the man before her no longer seemed familiar. Something inside Jack had died too, and in its place, a monster had awakened. Jack stared at the flickering light sphere in front of him. The system's voice rang cold and emotionless in the darkness. "Give me back the record notebook, and I'll send you to Lisa Jiang." Just as the words left the system's mouth, Jack snapped his head around. "You're serious?" "I am." The glowing orb bobbed faintly, nodding, but clearly reluctant. Of course it was. Jack understood why. Traveling across worlds always came at a cost. Lisa Jiang's mother had done it in exchange for completing a mission. Lisa herself had gone as a reward prepared by her mother, but Jack, he was no chosen one. Just a man who had stumbled into the system's domain by accident. That meant the price for this journey would be paid by the system. Without hesitation, Jack held out the notebook labeled Past Host's Record, yet even as he extended it, he couldn't let go. His knuckles were white. "When does it begin?" "Return the notebook now, and I'll open the portal immediately." The system paused, then added, "But my power can only open the time space channel. I can't guarantee where you'll end up. Once you enter, no matter what happens, you must keep moving forward. Any consequences will be yours to bear." What the system didn't say, if Jack strayed into the time storm, he might never return, might die and leave no trace, but Jack didn't care. He only knew this might be his last chance to return to Lisa Jiang's side. The twisted, dark corridor of the portal gradually took shape before him. Jack approached the swirling gate. Just before he stepped in, he turned one last time. "If I die, can you transfer all my assets to her world and give them to her?" he asked. "Let it be my final apology." The system didn't even look at him. Holding its recovered notebook tightly, it replied flatly, "Yes."